the screen, which you can click and then say whatever you want to say. So we will try our best to get to all the questions that come in. So with that, let me pass over to the team who will also present the rest of the session. So Zahin, are you there? Hello. Hello, Zahin.
Hello. Here we go. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the COVID check-in. It's really great to see so many of you here. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Awesome.
Clear.
I am checking in here from India, where I am currently in lockdown. I presume many of you are facing similar situations. So we're all on the same boat and we're learning to get through this crisis together. So to begin, let's all move over to say.co and log on with Stavo to the presentation.
I'm sharing my screen here. So everyone, whoever sees the screen, you can scan the QR code and enter the slides. Or you can open your browser and type hcay.co and then enter code STAVO. Also, you can check our slides.
So the code is STAVO, S-T-A-V-O, as you see here, if in case the QR code is not working. And while we're all logging on, I think there are a few people here that may not be introduced to myself or the rest of the team. So let me begin a little bit with myself. So my name is Zahin. I'm from Canada, and I've been working in Asia for the last 6 years. Most recently, I was living in Seoul in South Korea. And I've been working with the UNDP for over half a year now, supporting young entrepreneurs in the region, particularly those that are at a growth stage that are ready to start exploring grants and investment. And what we want to do for today is going to be really about doing a self-check-in, getting a sensing of how you're feeling, not just as an entrepreneur, but yourself as an individual. And while sometimes those two seem one and the same, and they are to some extent, but we're remembering that we also have our families and our communities to take care of, as well as our business. And the second part of today's webinar will be looking more closely into business. So how has COVID affected you? Whether you've had to pivot your business model or the way that you're working, or you've had to stop operations completely. So we're gonna try to keep it as interactive as possible because we really want to create a space for you to share about yourselves and find a common community who's in this experience together. All right, so just doing a check with Aggie, how are we doing?
Yes.
All right. And with that, welcome everyone. I see we have 49 participants in this chat room. This is fantastic. We are so grateful that you're here, and let's make this a productive hour. So collaborating and cooperating in the time of crisis. So the agenda for today, as I mentioned a little bit, we'll start with an icebreaker just to see who's in the room, and we'll play a little bit of a game. Next, we'll do the personal check-in, and finally, we'll do how we're going to look ahead and helping you move your business from a state of paralysis into more productivity at this time. Okay, going to the next slide. All right, so today, this afternoon, 3 p.m. Bangkok time, we're having a virtual potluck. Okay, we've got people from all around the world, all around the region right now. So maybe you can share in the Zoom chat room what country you're representing. I know we've got Pakistan in the room. I hear we've got Fiji in the room. Well, who do we have?
We have participants from Mongolia.
Yeah, so actually you can go into the hypersay. I think I said Zoom initially, but go ahead into the hypersay and type in your answer there. All right, so we're getting Sri Lanka, Mongolia, Pakistan, Philippines. And let's look at the food. Oh my goodness, the food. We have curry, biryani, tamarind, soup, cheese. Oh, I miss cheese. Oh, you've got France here. Awesome. So who's in France? Got Indonesia, Kotu, Laksa, Sarawak. So I do hope you're all getting some good food during this lockdown. Here in India, we haven't been able to get a lot of fruits or vegetables, but I'm having some delicious biryani and roti and dal. Durian, all right. Sinigang. Oh, I miss sinigang. So I was living in the Philippines for about a year and a half in 2016, and sinigang is probably one of my favorite dishes. Good. We've got, I think we've got almost everybody. Good. Awesome. We are going to have a really delicious potluck. Thank you, everyone, for delicious virtual meals to today's meeting. And let's cheers. Yay! Virtual applause for everyone. All right, now let's move into our snapshot. So, All right, so let's move into our next. Okay. So here, how are you feeling? You're checking in here today. Obviously, you've got a certain state of emotion. So you can see in Hyper Say, we've put in the question. Just type in how you're feeling, and let's get a sensing of the room. All right. So I see we've got some confusion, some sadness, frustrated, lost, stressed, a lot of negative emotion. Probably a lot of you were being in lockdown. But then I see there's quite a positive energy in the room as well. So maybe feeling relaxed, effective, excited, social. I would be very curious to maybe call on a few people to just share how they're doing. So what I would ask you to do, if there may be two people who are feeling a little bit anxious or frustrated, to please raise your hand in the Zoom, and we'll call on you to share. So please raise your hand if you'd like to share how you're feeling. Do we have anybody raising their hand?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so maybe
Hi,
Ed,
Abby, are you there?
like to choose?
Hi, Ali. I'll mute you so you can start sharing.
Can I share?
Yes, please.
Okay. Yes. Because of this lockdown and the overall situation across the globe, uh, it's very sad. Oh, first of all, let me introduce. I'm Ali from DevTalk. So the situation is sad because we are very much confused what is going on, what the future is, at what stage it will stop. Is any medicine will be launching to stop the pandemic, because obviously precious life been uh, going, and it's sad to hear every day, because every day we are listening news how many deaths been engaged, how many people are dying, how many people are being infected through. So it's always a sad story. On the other side, what we were doing through DevTalk business has, because DevTalk is very closer to, as a founder, is very closer to our heart. And as the business is not progressing, all activities are locked down, shut down, we are stuck at homes. So again, it's a sad feeling. And we are now in that position, how to communicate with our team. That's one of the biggest dilemma, because if there is no operations, so it's a challenge for us to sustain the employees and salaries. So it's again a dilemma that how to communicate with them, what to say, the situation, because at that time it's not possible to leave them alone. So That's all confusing. But yes, on the other side, very optimistic that when everything will clear, we can easily jump to in a very good mood. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you for sharing. Next, we have Omar from Pakistan. I saw you
Hello,
raise your hand. Hello.
hello everyone. So
Yeah.
I would like to share a little bit about our story. So because of this particular issue that's going around, much of our operations were mostly online. So we weren't that much affected, but some of our clients, especially the corporate ones whom we were quite relying on, they were badly affected, which is hurting our payments, especially the delivery system. A lot of our payments for more than over a month now. So a lot of cash flow issues are going around, but we are optimistic that once this thing ends, we would be back. So pretty frustrated things right now.
Hello, Zahin. I'm unmute you already.
I think I'm on from two different, my mobile and my computer. So it's all right. So everyone can hear me again?
Yes.
Great. So thank you, Ali and Omar, for sharing how you're feeling. And of course, everyone else for at least sharing virtually, typing it out and just showing up here. Again, we know it's a difficult time for all of us right now. And we're here to support each other, again, collaborating and cooperating through this time of crisis. So next, we want to know a little bit more about how your business, your project, your startup, whatever however you want to identify what you're working on, how it's going operationally. So Omar mentioned that, being an online business, it didn't necessarily affect your operations as drastically as maybe some of our colleagues in other places who may be working in tourism or working in a store-facing environment, right? So again, here, if we're going to scroll down you can check it out on your phones, where we've got the three options of your operations. Just going to do a check-in on whether you're fully operational, meaning your business is going on more or less as usual. Partially operational, meaning you're still working, but you have had to cut a few things down. And finally, you've just stopped operations completely. There is not much you can be doing right now. We'll just take a few seconds more to get everybody's answers. It seems like most people are in the category of partially operational. And I would imagine that has many different degrees of what that means for each person's business. All right. We've got 3 for fully operational, 13 for partially operational, and 5 for completely stopped operations. And just doing a check-in, is anyone having any issues with submitting their answer into the HyperSay? You can type it in the Zoom chat group if you're having any issues with HyperSay.
Yeah, we have 60 participants here, so I think we should have more answers. If you have problem submitting the answer through HyperSay, you can type the answer in the Zoom chat.
Okay. All right, so if at any time, so we will move on, but if at any time anyone is experiencing any technical difficulties, please feel free to comment in the Zoom chat group. We are working across both platforms, so we acknowledge that you're here. We're very grateful that you showed up to participate. So we want to make sure that you are interacting to the best way possible, and we'll work between the two. All right. Great. So let's go on to the next part. So you've answered whether you're fully, partially, or stopped operations. Now we want to find out more of what's happening. So first, if you answered that you are fully operational, when we get to the text below, we want you to answer what has enabled you to overcome the threats of COVID. Is it just the nature of your industry? Was it how quickly you were able to change your business model? Let us know why, how you're succeeding. If you're partially operational, let us know what's been working, what's not working. Have you had to make adjustments in terms of your product offerings? Is it that some aspects of the business are operational while others are not? Have you had to cut your HR? Let us know what's there. And finally, of course, if you said that you've stopped operations completely, we want to know why. And again, here, sometimes it's just the nature of the business or the industry that you're working in, that it's nearly impossible to do operations. Sometimes it's just a matter of being on lockdown, or challenges with your family, or access to customers or investors right now. So let us know what you're stuck on and how you're doing. We'll just take maybe about a 2 minutes for everyone to put in some of their answers, and then we will reconvene. Right, I could just give maybe about 30 more seconds, and then we will see what is happening. All right, so let's start at the end. Let's look at what's stopped. Let's look at the group that has stopped operations. So you see we have Nava Prashant saying, yeah, you're in the tourism industry. So when a country goes on lockdown, of course, it's pretty challenging. We have Huang, Save Your Ocean, looking for more co-founders, planning, okay, rebuilding. See another tourism industry, biodynamic organic farming. We can't get details for research because government offices are closed. Great. So from this group, could I ask maybe one or two people to raise their hand to share a little bit more about what they've written? So anybody would like to share? Okay. And Aggie, if I could ask for your help to check in on the raises. I think we have Kunti.
Let me check.
Kunti, yep, Kunti has raised their hand. Yep, so Aggie will just unmute you.
I'm trying to find his name.
So Kunthy.
Oh yeah.
There we
Hello.
go.
Hello. Hello.
Yes,
Yes, we can
hear
hear
you.
you.
Oh, thank you. Hi, I'm Kunti. I'm from Cambodia, and currently we are running a startup which is called Haystone. So we connect the traveler with the local artisan with all sort of skill like stone carving, wood carving, and stuff like this. However, during this coronavirus period or COVID-19, we have currently shut down the operation for a while until the virus is gone. The reason simply because 90% of our tourism industry has dropped according to the ADB, and also the situation that we have seen so far. Not just only me, but most of my friends who are in this tourism field have also shut down their business temporarily as well. And it's quite difficult to run the operation during this period. As right now in Cambodia, the country is in the state of emergency because the prime minister just announced yesterday. So that's why we have no choice but to shut down the operation temporarily.
And Kunti, how have you been sort of dealing with this situation now?
Well, what we can do right now is only like the SEO, the marketing material, and planning after the coronavirus is gone. But for at the moment, we are still keeping contact with our previous customer as well as our potential markets that we have been just like interacting with them, keep them updated on the situation, and that's all pretty much we can do right now. Like mostly on planning and what to do next after the coronavirus.
Okay, so you said you're actually keeping in touch with your customers.
Yes, correct.
Can you maybe share a little bit more about how you're keeping in touch with your customers even though you're not selling right now?
Yeah, the reason I mentioned like keeping in touch with our customer because of our nature of the business model itself. Like in Haystone, we have this community called Haystone Family. So the Haystone Family consisted of the previous customer that they have been with us, the local artisans, and everybody involved in Haystone there. So when they come once, we will connect them to the local communities, and we share the stories and everything. And then afterward, they will be staying in a group that we have created on Facebook, and also other group as well, such as on the website itself. So then there we keep updating them about information about our website, where we are, and they are really loyal customers that we have so far. That's how we keep interacting with our previous customer. And for the customer that we mentioned, like we are not making any sale. However, we are focusing on SEO a bit more, like to reach out to potential customer. So after the coronavirus period is gone, we are hoping to make more sale on that. That's how we've been just posting on information about things like protection and stuff like this.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for sharing. And Kunti, I do hope that your beautiful bags will be available for customers again soon. But
Thank
I
you.
think what you've shared is just a great example of how to make productive use of this time. So even though you're not able to make the sales, your customers are still your customers, and focusing on past customers, engaging with them, keeping them updated, and as you said, building that loyalty. I hope and I truly believe that is going to have a significant impact when you're trying to rebound after COVID. So that's a great lesson. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Thank you. Is anyone else from this group, from the stopped operations, that would like to share? You have the opportunity to raise your hand or just type in the text. Okay. All right. Then let's move on to the partially operational. Oh, did you see a hand?
Yes. Hello.
Okay, please, let's go ahead.
Hi everybody, I'm from Nepal. My name is Subodh, and we are doing the biodynamic organic and indigenous farming in Nepal here, and we train the farmers from peer-to-peer training about the biodynamic organic and indigenous farming in Nepal, and we are unable to train them because of the lockdown, and also we are unable to sell our product to the local market because of the shutdown, and yeah, we are also unable to train them, and therefore we are also in loss along with us. The farmer are also in the loss because of this COVID-19. Thank you. Hello. Are you hearing me? Hello.
Hello. Okay, I'm here.
Hello.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing. And again, I am curious, I understand that you're not able to do the training, but
yeah,
are there other aspects that you've been able to work on during this time?
Yeah, and we are working on the documented knowledge. We're digitalizing it right now there in our farm. Yeah, thank you. That's all. Hello.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, please.
Let's move on to, okay, we have Sagufta from Fiji sharing about the business to transform waste to furniture and home decor. I'm very sorry to hear that you have had to close down operations for the time being. And I hope that through this discussion, you and all of us may be able to find productive ways of using this time, even if we're not able to make sales directly. So let's look at those in the partially operational group. So I see a lot of you have mentioned that you're doing a lot of online products or focusing on a specific part of the business that's more related to planning or just kind of conceptualizing. Again, I'll ask for raise of hands for those who would like to share with the group how they're dealing at this time. Okay, so let's start with maybe Tamid. And then go to Indranil. So Tamid, T-A-M-I-D.
Hello, Tamid.
Hi. Hi again. Hi, Zahin. Thanks for arranging this amazing forum. So I'm from iFarmer, based in Bangladesh. And during this COVID-19 situation, our whole operation got partially affected. So as we mostly work with farmers, and it's more about a alternative investment platform. So there is both ends, one for the investor and on the other hand, there is farmers. So on the investor side, they're quite skeptic. Like we were encountering around 200% sales growth for last 4 months, and already for last 2 weeks, the whole sales process got slowed. It's not stopped yet, but we are not receiving enough responses that we were used to get. And from the farmer side, we need to onboard more farmers, but the whole situation and the farmers' place got locked down. So we are not being able to train them, onboard them. Also, it's affecting our sourcing as well. So for the time being, we are focusing more on the tech development side, as we were developing 2 apps, one for the investors and another for the farmers. So we are focusing more on the tech now, and also we are building relation with our farmers and our investors. We also started sending some precautions and do's and don'ts to the farmers. We're sending them uh, hand sanitizers to and masks for keeping them safe. It's more about building a trust with the farmers. So yeah, and hopefully the situation gets normal soon, and we can continue our business.
Hello, thank you so much for sharing. And again, I would like to ask you to maybe build a little bit on maybe how you're building your technology or maintaining relations with your farmers.
Okay, so we consider our farmers as our partners. So uh, as our whole motive is to develop them to a farm from farmers, it's very important to uh, give them the belief that they can rely on us and we can help them to grow more. And considering the current situation, as we are not being able to provide them training, we are more about focusing on their safety. Uh, we are providing them like the basics of the awareness regarding COVID-19, how they can manage the situation, because farmers are not always get the proper access to information. So we are informing them through phone calls, we are texting them, uh, as farmers are still not that uh, used to using technologies. We try to arrange a video conference with them, but very few showed. So now we are more about calling each one of them. And for the tech development side, we are developing 2 apps. As I mentioned, uh, we are already beta testing with the investors because most of them are now sitting home and it's the best time to get their feedbacks and incorporating them. And from the farmer side, we already got some of them downloaded the beta version, so they are already started using them. We are kind of giving them some incentives to so that they get used to with using the apps. So yeah, and
Great. Yeah. Sorry, did you want to finish?
on the investor side, we are getting very good responses that I just wanted to add, but unfortunately, we are not being able to process their investments right now. So we kind of slowed the investment as well.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing. Next, could I ask maybe Indranil, and to share? So do we have Ina unmuted? No, sorry.
Hello, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Ina, is that you? Okay, I think we seem to have lost Ina. So maybe we'll come back. So maybe can I get Miriam?
Hello.
Ina is back.
Ina is back. Ina, can you speak to us?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry about the blackout. Okay. Um, so I'm from Mongolia, and our company develops organic Mongolian products, and it's the most important time for our business to attract customers, to attract people who are willing to participate in our workshops. And due to the COVID-19, we are trying to approach this situation more differently by organizing online workshops on our garlic growing lessons. And I think this situation is teaching our business, teaching our team to approach workshops in a more efficient. Okay. Thank you for listening.
Ina, can you hear?
Yeah, I can hear. My microphone is kind of lagging out.
Yeah. But I think you're okay now. So I think you were just telling us that this was an opportunity for you to think about how to be more efficient.
Yes.
So could you share with us a little bit more about that thought?
Okay, so before we would do workshops to only 20 to 25 people due to our lack of space in our space. So now we could reach out to 40 to 50 people through online in a week, and 100 people in a month. So we didn't really thought of holding online workshops, but now we are building on to make our online workshops more efficient way.
Wow. So for you guys, you actually took this crisis opportunity to really develop the business and elevate it to the next level. And I think that's sometimes what crisis can teach us. We have to remember that it's just a signal, a sign that we need to do something differently. And I'm so glad to hear that your team has been able to capture this opportunity and reach more people through your courses. Thank you for sharing. So next we have Miriam. Could we unmute Miriam?
Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Hello, Marian.
Hi, this is Mariam from Pakistan, and I want to share. It's a kind of a long story, but I want to share it. As I am working on I and my friend Bakhtavar, who is also there, we are working on child protection since like 2 years. It's been 2 years, yeah. And we have also developed an app. And the amazing thing is that we have developed it with the help of our own pocket monies. And now, despite of using that app on child protection and for the children, we also conduct sessions directly with the street children and with the in and out of school children, and also in slum areas, so that we can convey our message to them to the best possible way. Yeah. And when we are talking about this situation of lockdown, we already know that we cannot interact with them directly, and we cannot approach them, we cannot access them, as we have been logged in. The other thing is that according to a World WHO report, the abuse cases have been increased, not out of schools, yeah, out of homes. These have been increased in homes. So this is alarming, this is really alarming. And so as a solution, we have been thinking to make our app more reliable to use, so that everyone can the children can acknowledged that the bad things happening to them are not really good, or so we are thinking to just apply an artificial intelligence in the app, or we are like about to update it, but we lack resources, we lack a platform. That's all from my side. Thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing. But Miriam, I am curious to ask you, how have you been coping at this time? So I understand you're not able to interact with the children directly, but you said, sort of the partial operations. What have you been focusing on?
We have been awareing them. We cannot aware them without interacting them. Without interacting them face to face, but we are awareing their parents and teachers through Facebook and Instagram and through social media. We are awareing them, and we have been making many videos, like animated videos for them on how to say no, and on the knowledge of good touch, bad touch, and private body parts and all.
Great, thank you. I thank you so much, Miriam, for sharing. It's really great to connect with you here again. And I think we're seeing a bit of a common thread. It's a great opportunity, even though with the lockdown.
Yeah.
Can everyone hear me okay? I just want to do a quick mic check because I think I'm hearing myself.
We hear you.
Okay, great. Sorry. So as I was saying, I think we see this common thread that even though we're not able to interact with our customers, our staff, our team directly, we still have a lot of social media tools, and there's still a lot we can do with engaging with them to build the loyalty and the trust. So thank you everyone who's shared so far. I'll have just one team, if we can go to the fully operational businesses. And if someone would like to raise their hand to share. about what's kept you fully operational at this time. So actually, Ali, I see that Dev Talk is here. So if you want to, if Wamik wants to share at this time, this would.
Hello, can you hear us?
Yes, thanks, Zahin, thanks, Cynthia. As our basic business model is working with the deaf community, that's it, they leave their houses and communicate with the general public, either going to the hospitals or to the education centers and for interviews, and maybe things are locked down in Pakistan and Singapore. So we pivot a little bit. That basic operations are not as effective as they could be 4 weeks prior, 3 weeks prior. So we started pivoting. One thing which we did, we started doing partnership with the hospitals. So as the deaf user goes to the hospital, so they can utilize our services through the hospitals. Second, what we did the partnership with media, giving the critical information like the announcements by the governments and the prime ministers, or the curfew hours announcement. So we translate into sign language and distribute among our users so they can understand all our social media, so they understand what's going on. And the most important, what the pivot we did is, as the schools are shut down, so we took that opportunity to starting online tuition. Because our interpreters are mostly school teachers who are doing in special education centers, so they started online tuitions for those deaf children who are not able to join any universities and schools, and more and English learning for the adults. So one of the opportunities. So we just announced these classes last week, and within just 6 days, we got 300 plus applications for that classes.
Wow, congratulations. Thank you so much for sharing. And everyone who's joined us here today, I hope through these stories from your fellow entrepreneurs, you've been able to take some key lessons that you may be able to apply to your own businesses. We see that there are opportunities still in terms of developing your technology or your product and your marketing planning. There are still opportunities to engage with your customers to build loyalty. There are still opportunities to build the cohesiveness of your team and staff. And there are definitely a lot of opportunities that virtual work and remote work is able to offer us. As you can see today, this is an example of how we can utilize this time. We have over 50 participants online right now, multiple tools, mobile, PC, we're using different software. So I hope this is a great learning opportunity for you. So to get to the final point of our agenda, let's go on to the next slide as well. It's through this sharing, I think the takeaway that I would like to ask you is, what actions can you take within your scope of control? I think with the COVID situation, it's very easy to feel like there's no ground underneath our feet. Personally, I'm stranded currently in India. Every day it seems like, what is the government going to announce today? Are there going to be international flights? Are we going to run out of food? Is there going to be issues with the health authorities? And everything feels like it's shaking all the time. But it's important to remember there are certain things that are within your scope of control. So I try to remind myself, I can still breathe, I can still exercise, I can still call my loved ones, I can read a book. I still have so much resources here with me, just in myself. And similarly for you with your business, it's might be worthwhile to think about visualizing all the things that are happening right now and asking yourself, what can be under your control, right? So you can't meet your customers. You may not be able to get the money from investors, but there are so many aspects of a business. So what can you do to make the most of this time right now? And so to close, next slide, we're just going to do some closing remarks of how can you give to the Youth Collab community. Maybe there are products or services or just a good listening ear that you can offer to other entrepreneurs in this community, whether they're operating in the same country as you, or you're in the same industry, or you have similar business model. There's always so much we can learn from each other. So what can you give? And then secondly, what support would you like to get from the Youth Collab community? Are there maybe worksheets or templates that you're interested in? Aggie, I think, has shared with you some great COVID resources with regards to grant opportunities, online working tools. So whatever you might need at this time, feel free to go down and share your answers. And we'll just give a minute here for everyone to share their answers, and we'll do a debrief and take it from there. I can see some of you are playing with the real-time typing. Suppo. Great, so I see we can have a lot of advice, sharing, which is great. I mean, at this time, sometimes you just need someone to remind you that, hey, you can get through this. Okay, we have, thank you, Samri, for sharing more about, specifically in Pakistan. Okay, Tamid on farmer management. Yeah, I think there are a few people in the chat room who are working with farmers. Right, Lei, thank you for, yeah, so I know AI for Gov has been able to make, working with the government to develop a chatbot for crisis response. So this might be an opportunity to also strengthen your nation, your country. Right, mental support, let's go down. Great. And we can share these answers with you after the call. So let's see what support we would like to get. All right, so again, I see a lot of you, everyone, the advice, the check-in, the catch-up, that's great. How to control the spread of the virus. Definitely make sure you're checking in with the World Health Organization. I think it's really important at this time to refer to trustworthy news sources. There's a lot of fake news out there. You have to be careful what you're reading, especially if it's coming up on just your Facebook newsfeed. So be sure that you're trusting the sources that you're getting information from. Number one is the World Health Organization, hands down. All right, we've got technical support. So Miggy's saying list of granting and funding. Great. If you go on to the Youth Collab website, again, Aggie has done a fantastic job of compiling of over 200 opportunities for grants, events, mentorship, etc. Facebook group for all participants. Yeah, that would be great. At the end of the day, you're all connected to one another here. So if you heard somebody sharing today, you feel free to reach out and say, hey, I really liked what you said about this. I'm very curious how you're coping with this situation because we're going through the same thing. I'd love to have a call with you. And know that you're here for each other, and not just the UNDP team. Okay. Good. And yeah, mentoring. So again, we're all here for you. If you want to send us an email on WhatsApp, here, following up on Zoom, myself, Aggie, Cynthia, Linka, your country office representatives. I think Dinlong is here as well. So yeah. Oh, and here we go. Thank you, Linka, for sharing the Facebook group. So you can log on there. Awesome. So that is the finale of our hour. Sorry, we have one more final announcement. We do have a blog post going out. Ben, may I ask if you want to type a little bit more about the blog post?
Hello, Ben, you can speak now.
Okay, hi everyone, Ben here. So we are just sharing on the Youth Collab Facebook page and Twitter in a few minutes. There was an analysis from the survey that we did on COVID. Many of you supported us by responding to that survey last week. So we are consolidating that, and we're going to be having quite a few stories coming out. The first one is more of an overview of the research that has come back to us. So very much in line with what you have been discussing here, but through the responses we got from the 400 respondents. We will also be doing some human interest stories. So basically telling a couple of stories from you guys later on. So we might come back to you on that. So there's a response through the work that you do, but there's also stories to be shared in the coming days and weeks. So we'd be happy to also tell your story with our community using our Facebook, Twitter, and website. So today, if you can help us, please go to the Youth Collab Facebook page and like the blog or share it. It is the responses from all the surveys you have responded to. Thank you so much.
Great, thank you. All right, and with that, thank you everybody. Have a wonderful day ahead. We look forward to reconnecting with you again soon. All the best with your businesses, with your families and health. And till next time, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.